Seems it never rains in Southern
Good evening. We've got a couch clip today at the end of Wednesday. Did not sleep very well last night. Today was a tiring day, kind of left early. Trying to give my back and body a bit of a rest here. Did get some stuff done. I finished the MPI I started last night, and I'm not getting up because I have a cat, and I don't want to disturb him. So finished up the MPI, put a secondary air pump in that Anthracite 2000 car, parking brake shoes and springs on the Canadian M5, still waiting on the bumper, still waiting on the windshield, dug into the X5 fuel system a little more. The Venturi hose is not the solution. So the car had a full tank when it came in. We changed the Venturi hose, reset everything, and then just drove it, and the needle was going down, 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 and then one day, from like an eighth, randomly back to 3/4. How does that possibly make sense? What changes in the car somewhere that it now thinks it has 3/4 of a tank? So my dad put 9 gallons in it, because then we didn't know how much gas was in it. We're starting to get worried. So he puts 9 gallons in it, no change to the gauge. Get it up there at the shop today and pull up the digital values, test number 6 on the cluster on high OBC. And it shows left side 0, right side, and it was fluctuating a lot, like 8.4 to 9.7, I think I saw, liters in that side, which is a couple of gallons. But that's certainly not 3/4. So we have two issues. One, the digital values are not reading properly, and two, the gauge is not representative of the digital values. So I thought, what happens if we just do test number 21, cluster reset? So you do that, and then all the gauges zero out, and then the fuel gauge comes back up to more or less match what it would show based on those digital values. So if I had, let's call it 9 liters of fuel in the tank, the light was on, it was just above the empty tick on the gauge. So that made sense. Then I opened up the tank, took out the right level sender where the fuel pump is, disconnected the fuel pump, just took the spades off the actual pump motor, but left the level sender connected, take the float by hand and raise it up and down. The digital values move to adjust. If I raise the float all the way up, it says 27 liters on the right side of the tank. If I bring it all the way down, it says 0. That makes sense. The gauge needle doesn't move. How? How does the gauge needle not move if I'm manually moving? And I'm not jerking it around to the point where it's thinking that can't be right. I took it and really slowly moved it up to try to emulate being at the gas station and pumping up the car full of gas. And the needle on the gauge doesn't move. So I tried another instrument cluster out of an E39 540, still coded for an E39 540. But same results. It would digitally display high numbers as I raised the float up, but the gauge doesn't move. So I'm kind of at a loss. I took out the left fuel sender, and the hose, whatever return hose on top, was so tight, I broke the nipple off the top of the level sender. So we've got to replace that. So I'll have a new one tomorrow. So we'll replace that left level sender, see if that makes a difference. When we got the car, there was a shadow code stored for tank sensor 1 left, but I'm kind of at a loss. The system is not that complicated. Obviously, the level sender, the right sender's working. It's sending or transmitting that data up to the cluster, which seems to be accurately reporting that, but the needle's not moving, even with 2 instrument clusters. Does it make sense, Peanut? No, not one bit. If any of you have anything to think about or recommend here, please let me know. I'm all ears. I've got to figure that out. I've got to figure out the vibrating engine still. We haven't pulled the exhaust yet or done motor mounts again, but he has replaced the motor mounts twice with Phoebe or Corteco, whatever brand parts, and that doesn't seem to be the issue. So I don't know. We get these problems that seemingly no one's had before and no one can figure out how to solve, and our sublets aren't going to be of any help, so we've just got to go through and start replacing every single nut and bolt on the car until we find out what's wrong with it. But I'm going to go to bed early tonight, try to sleep, get some rest. Today was a rainy day. Tomorrow's going to be the same. It's still coming down. Not crazy hard, just kind of off and on, mild to moderate showers all day. Talk on Thursday. Good night, Peanut.